Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back. Here is a weird one which for years I kept thinking of as a vampire film simply because of the cover art, which is very memorable, but it is not a vampire film. It's a film which I feel like even those who haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a long time may have at least some recollection of what that cover looks like, because it really stands out, or have maybe heard the name or a couple small details, because it really is a strange one, and that is for the 1988 film The Lair of the White Worm. Now, this one stars Hugh Grant and Peter Capaldi. Yep, we have our Prime Minister from Love Actually, and the 12th Doctor himself in this one, way back in 1988, where by today's comparison they look like kids, even though I believe they are college-aged in this story. You have this little poster up here, and other art associated with it, such as like this image here. It always made me think vampire. But anyways, it's very surreal the way that cover just sticks out and people remember it. But anyways, the synopsis for this film is as follows. When an archaeologist uncovers a strange skull in a foreign land, the residents of a nearby town begin to disappear, leading to further inexplicable occurrences. Yeah, nothing to do with vampires here, but because of those kinds of images and everything, it always kind of sticks in my mind as one. But anyways, this is much stranger and much more original of an idea than just some other vampire film. But first, let me just say that I'm presenting this just like I do with all of my videos, in case you're new, simply as this is a film, I enjoy it because of that, and I recommend it. It's not a deep dive into analyzing the film or the production or anything behind it. It's just how I feel about this as an average viewer of films, and I definitely feel strange, because everything about this film feels strange. The story is kind of secluded and cut off, located kind of pushed out from like any large population centers to a smaller town, and beginning at this convent where this large skull is discovered. We're introduced to our characters, such as Capaldi's being this archaeologist student who's investigating this dig, and Grant being the descendant of a line of lords who has inherited this land and the surrounding land where this skull was found. Along with that lineage, we also have some history in this area, in that there's a tale of an ancestor of his having slain this monstrous worm eons ago. So we even get this great party scene that kind of fills us in a little bit more on that, where we have a band singing this song about the legends during this celebration that they're having, where they reenact certain things from it. It's very silly, very fun, but this also serves as a way to kind of introduce our Lord to the archaeologist. Anyways, along with that skull discovery, there have been some people going missing in the area who have been being searched for. There's a search underway for them, and it seems to be linked, because of some possessions of theirs that were found, to this cave where supposedly this worm had been slain eons ago. Now, as the missing people are kind of being searched for and the situation is being investigated, they're also looking into, and by that way further informing us, the history of this worm legend and this cave and this whole surrounding area, trying to make sense of everything happening. Now, I am rambling a bit here because this one throws you around quite a bit and distracts you. At least it sure distracted me when I saw this for the first time when I was probably around 13 or 14. And even now, due to this Lady Marsh character who lives nearby. Alone in her mansion, we are quickly shown that she is our force working in the background regarding these disappearances, which we learn about in a very sensual and bizarre interaction that she has with a young hitchhiker who becomes one of the first victims that we kind of see her take out as a sacrifice to this worm god, which she seems to be a sort of servant or steward for. It is a very awkward scene, her picking up this kid, playing snakes and ladders, similar to Chutes and Ladders here in the US, bathing him, biting him. It's very sensual and very, very strange and creepy. But anyways, as this investigation is unfolding and more is kind of coming out and being revealed to us, as audience members here, what really sticks out are these bizarre dreams and hallucinations after one comes in contact with this woman, whether it's through kind of like a sensual scene for Hugh Grant's character or being stricken with venom. We get these surreal dream sequences, such as, Hugh Grant's being on this plane, which makes little to no sense, weird stuff happening there, and especially one that has to do with almost like telling this strange history of religion and how this worm was associated with it. It's very graphic, and most of which, of course, I can't even show here on YouTube, but a lot of this film is very hard to wrap my head around, as I found my mind often wandering into the what the heck am I watching territory quite a bit. But this is always a film that I seem to return to every few years. Once I remember doing it on Amazon, a few years later on Shudder. I believe it was Shudder at least, but more recently when I scooped up this Blu-ray here, which has that really interesting cover, which from what I remember, I believe I got this one at Viper Video as well, who I've mentioned several times, which is fitting, seeing that, you know, the way that she infects or converts people, she's very snake-like in that way. As a poster, and some of the covers show, you know, her slinking up from a basket like a cobra. And some of the pictures like these show all of these fangs in all their glory, making one, such as myself, kind of associate this with vampires. She's more like a snake creature related in some way to this worm. There's even a heavy lean into snake charming in this one, as that music can distract or borderline control her at times, or people who've been infected by her. Like a snake charming tune can kind of protect you from her. But at any rate, we have this skull, missing people, tale of a giant worm being slain, this very sexy seductress gathering victims for sacrifice, her being very snake-like and falling under the spell of like a snake charm, and people being infected by her as she gathers more victims in this small town, with the Prime Minister and the 12th Doctor. So yes, it's definitely a strange one. One I would say often falls under the category of what the heck did I just watch? I need to check it out again, pay closer attention and take it all in, only to get distracted by those really surreal dreams and hallucinations and those very sensual distractions thrown throughout the film, making one's mind wander. But ultimately, I returned this one to this one because it has a very interesting look. It's very colorful, the way it was shot. It's wonderfully artistic in that overall style, but especially in the makeup and effects. Those dreams and hallucinations, this droning mixed with triumphant soundtrack that's always beating away in the background. Now, this may not be one which is everyone's cup of tea, you know, but it's one that stands out because all those reasons that I gave of why I always return to this one, I feel it makes it more than worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this quick little video here for The Lair of the White Worm from 1988, which at the time of this video is on Amazon Prime as well as Tubi. If interested, go ahead and check it out. Just be warned, it is a bit strange, so you may need to stick with it longer than that typical, like, initial 15 minutes where you're wondering if you're even going to like it. But hey, worst case scenario, you have a story to tell about a really weird movie that was recommended to you. Anyways, that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming by, and if you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, and if not already subscribed, consider subscribing and hitting that little bell icon to get notifications when I put up new content, which is usually 1 to 3 times a week. Also, I would like to welcome a lot of new subscribers. I posted a video last week for Nosferatu 2024 versus Dracula 1992, an unpopular opinion. Somehow, after months of a real downturn in the channel, this one just blew up, gave me quite a lot of views and a lot of new subscribers, so welcome to the channel and thanks for coming by if you're returning. But anyways, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for coming by, and I will see you in the next one.